Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back for round 19 of the F1 2018 ORL Season 10 calendar. We are ready to go after the issues from that we had last time out, and let me just make some quick edits. I don't know why I'm having some difficulties right now. For some reason it doesn't want to change my my stream title. I don't know why. YouTube's playing around with me, so let's just get everything working if it actually wants to work, because YouTube sometimes is a little bit interesting. Save. Okay. Right. Save. Okay. So everything should be good now, and let's just set up everything on the stream so it's all Gucci and ready to go. Right. Okay. Cool. So we're all ready to go. Then let's just take a look at everyone who is actually in this lobby, because as you may have remembered if you were watching yesterday, we did have a race on, and then everything got changed after we had some issues with DCs because stream decided to crash on us. So the big change is that we have Mr. Black Panther. He is returning, so we're not going to be seeing Hayes today. Hayes is not racing. We are back to Black Panther. Hayes was really quick yesterday, but I think he qualified third. But we do still have Donoso, Mark 313, Flexis Marcy, Kane, Marek, Photon, Muller, and of course our championship title contender, Velocity Formula Delhi. Oh, I should probably put myself down as spectate, so now everyone else can get in. Right, so we should be ready to go in just a short bit, and for tonight, because we already had part of the race yesterday, we will be having no practice. Yesterday, because we had we had part of the race yesterday, we won't be doing practice. We're going to be going straight in to qualifying, so everything should spice up as a result, and we'll spend less time kind of wondering what to talk about, so which is always good. We can get straight into the action. Let's see how many people we can get, because it has been slightly short notice. We may be a little bit short of a full grid, but let's just wait and see to see how everything pans out. But we should be in for an absolute cracker of a Grand Prix. So no more drivers have joined the lobby just yet. I'm guessing we should still be in for a dry qualifying and race, because those were the conditions last time. And let's just mute all. Otherwise we may hear Formula Danny singing as usual, and while Formula Danny singing is not the worst, it's always good to save that post-race for when we go into our press conference, essentially, and we hear him singing. Hopefully he's got his lasagna ready. Don't forget, guys, do drop any messages you want in the chat, because I will be keeping some form of an eye on it. Okay, and it looks like we will be heading into the race. We will be having a 14 driver grid, and while it's a slightly smaller grid, it means that we will see a few less incidents anyway, and less traffic for the leaders when they do come round to lap people. If we take a look, who's going to be battling round the back? We're going to have Weebs, Elsinger, Myler, and Black Panther, and Twin Barrel J. So that's going to be your kind of battle for the final point of the race. Don't forget, we do have a 40 gap between Calcifer in first and Formula Danny in second. I will keep reminding you of that and how the points will stand as we go through the race. But as it stands, Calcifer, if he wants to win the championship, and Formula Danny hypothetically wins the next 3 races, Calcifer will require a 3rd, a 4th, and a 5th if he wants to win the championship. If he gets a 3rd, a 5th, and a 5th, sorry, so a 3rd and 2/5, he will not win the title. He will lose on the number of wins. So as mentioned, no practice for tonight, and we should be, hopefully I can get clarification on this, it should be a dry race in both, so weather will be dry in both qualifying and the race, overcast. So waiting for the first driver to head out onto track, and it's probably going to be Elsinger, and of course it's Elsinger. It's always Elsinger. Do we ever doubt the man Elsinger? As that's going to be that's Marek in the Red Bull, seeing one of the Force Indias coming out, Donoso, and I'm guessing that's Flex's Marcy as well. But let's just sit on board with Elsinger. He's going to be coming around, as we mentioned at the end of, well, as we mentioned last time, you're going to be having quite a few drivers setting their times on the Hypersofts and Ultrasofts, but not really anyone on the Supersoft, although Donoso has opted for a Supersoft set of tyres, as has Marek. So again, let's keep an eye on those tyre compounds and how that can all affect the race. We do know that Donoso does like to qualify on a harder set of tyres, and now that is a slightly smaller grid, only 13 drivers as opposed to 20, there's a much smaller risk for qualifying on those harder compound tyres, and it will make it easier to complete a lap. And it is a short lap as well, only just over a minute, 1 minute 10, 1 minute 12. Those were the fastest laps we were seeing yesterday. So Elsinger coming around the final corner, he takes a short line across, which isn't the best way to start the lap, but Elsinger will begin his hot lap, and it will be the first hot lap of qualifying session. You've got Donoso a little bit further back, and Marek as well will break about 80 meters in. A bit of a lock up on the front right tyre. Don't forget he's on the ultra soft tyres. Couldn't pull it all the way to the right as he enters at 2 and at 3. But now heading down the second DRS straight as he approaches the chicane of 4 and 5. Watch for the braking point. It's going to be about 90 meters. Slows it right down. Misses the apex by a fair bit, and that will cost him through the chicane as he now gets his power on as he approaches the long turn 6, or the double right hander of 6. Now we approach the S's. Just a little tap on the brake, try to flick it through. Big moments of understeer into 7 as we now go through 8, 9, 11 there, and now we are approaching the stadium section, what everyone seems to love in real life. Through turn 12, clip as much curb as you can, pull it over to the right, bit of a lock up on the front left tyre, takes an early apex, try to take as much curb as you can through the right hander of 15, and now through 16 and the long sweeping 17. Let's see what he can do. It's a slow lap, and it looks like he'll be going for a second hot lap. However, meanwhile, behind him, we've got, sorry, who was behind him? We've got Marek. Marek's coming through. What kind of time can Marek pull? It's a 14.1. But don't forget, we're going to be seeing these guys doing 1 minute 12s most likely, because that's what they were able to do last time. Let's sit on board with Velocity Photon, as Shez has just joined, or Rage I should say. Velocity Photon on those Hypersoft tyres, so expect him to either be in the 12s or very low 13. So he runs a little bit wide through 16, and it's going to be a 12.7, so a decent lap time for Photon, but that lap time will not count. What about Mark? Mark's coming through the final couple of corners now. Let's see what kind of lap time this is. He's got a lot of ERS available, which would lead one to believe that he is now going to be starting a hot lap. There's a 14.7, so for his first lap anyway, it's not the worst banker time that's ever been set. But Formula Danny, he's approaching the final sector. He's not on a hot lap though. Oh, as he has a bit of a moment. Donoso runs wide. That's going to cost him. What about Calcifer? Calcifer hasn't completed his lap yet. As Donoso makes his way through the final corner, pardon me, as he will now head into the pit lane. So clearly not happy with that lap, or those set of lap times. Who can we ride on board with? What about Kane? Okay, so Kane just cutting through the corners, trying to get as little tyre wear as he can, but he will be starting his hot lap very soon. What about Photon? Photon's coming around the final couple of corners. Will he be heading into the pits? Yes, he will. Oh, Black Panther's on a hot lap, so let's try to stay on board with him. The detail is currently the fitted tyres, so how many laps they have done so far on the tyres. Black Panther, he's 5/10 up. We don't know what his previous best was. We'll see it as he's approaching the line though. That will pop up on his timing display in the top right corner. He slows down for the final corner. Get the power and try to ease it on. He's half a second up before, so maybe 7/10 or so. It's a 14.8 from Panther. Not enough to displace his teammate Mark, but enough to jump ahead of Weebs and Elsinger. But Marek has found a 10th through the first two sectors, and he's going to be peeling into the pits. But Formula Danny with a 13.6 on those super soft tyres, so good job from him, and he will be taking that provisional pole. But what about Calcifer? Calcifer's still in the pits. Kane looking to find more time. He's a 10th up through the first sector. Let's see how his second sector is. Oh, as Kane, he's an entire second up. Bit of a lock up on that front left tyre as he slows it down to make the apex of 13 through 14, 15, and now through 16. Feed the power in all the way through 17. This is looking like a fairly quick lap. What is it going to be? It's a 13.9, and it's enough for second place. But don't forget, he's on the ultra soft while everyone around him is on those super soft tyres. What about Mark? What can he do? It's a 14.3 for Mark on the super soft tyres. So he goes a little bit quicker, but not quick enough. Will he go out again on super soft tyres, or will he put on a set of ultra softs? So we'll have to wait and see. Donoso on full ERS. What about Myler? He seems to be on a hot lap. He's throwing it in to the final sector now through 14 and 15, and now slow it down for 16. Try to get the best exit possible. It's looking decent so far. What's it going to be? It's a 14.8, and it's enough to just pit Black Panther. So once again, Myler and Black Panther will be battling hard for the title of best of the rest. What about Photon? Photon's not out. Neither is Flex's Mars C. Actually, Photon heading out of the pits now. He is on the super soft tyres, as is Flex's Mars C. Speaking of Donoso, he's just started his hot lap, so let's ride on board with him as he approaches turn 6 and soon the S's. The best part of this track, I think most people will agree with that. Reminiscent of the Suzuka S's in that sector 1, just even quicker, more G-force as you're pulling around there, carrying more speed, need even more downforce. Brakes nice and late for turn 12. Get it now, nicely slow down for 13. Try to be as patient as you can, cut as much curb as you dare through 14 and now through 16. Feed the power in. This is actually looking really quick. What's it going to be? He's going to slow down. He's done this before, but it's a 13-0 from Donoso. So we saw Donoso do this last yesterday as well. He had a quicker time available, but he slowed down coming across the line, and he set a 13-0 on those hypersofts. So a bit of a banker time from him, but it does leave him the availability to beat that time on a set of ultra softs or super soft. So Donoso going for the same strategy that he did yesterday. As Mark is into the wall, where is that? That is through the S's, I believe. As I think that was Panther who just went past him. Yeah, so Panther, so Mark has lost it coming through the S's, and there you go. So Mark must have just been tank slapping it all the way through there. So this is where Mark lost it on the exit of turn 11. Just trying to hold it, but that is going to be his session over, and that's such a shame. Down in 5th place, I'm sure he had more time in the car. With 8 minutes remaining, that's a real shame for Mark. Hopefully he'll be able to keep on to that 5th place, but now he will be starting on those super soft tyres that have done 4 laps. So all super soft tyres to be starting the race for MRL Mark. Casper slowing it down for turn 12. To the final corner. Will he go in the pits? No, he won't. Let's see what time he can do on these super soft tyres. It's a 14.3. So just enough to pip Mark, but not enough to jump ahead of Calcifer. A decent lap regardless. What about Black Panther? He's on his hot lap now on those hyper soft tyres. Can he find the 800ths necessary to jump ahead of his rival Myler? Remember, these two are battling for position in the championship. What's it going to be? It's a 14.3. And Black Panther, not only will he jump ahead of Myler, he jumps ahead of Elsinger and almost 0.004 of a second off his his Haas teammate Mark. Who's on a lap? It's Photon. Photon's on a lap, but it seems like he's backing out of this one. Not pulling a lot of revs. So yeah, he's 3 seconds down, so not on a hot lap just yet. What about Calcifer? Calcifer backing off. Black Panther I'm sure he's backing out of that lap. Myler sets a 14.8, not enough to beat his previous best. What about Flex's Marcy? He's on his 2nd hot lap on these super soft tyres. Let's see what he can do. He's going to back out of it now. Probably going to peel into the pits at the end of this lap. Maybe bang on a set of ultra softs or hyper softs. But let's ride on board with Calcifer. Is Calcifer going to be doing a lap, or is he going to be heading straight into the pits? Okay, so he's heading into the pits, but Mark in 7th place. Let's hope, well, hopefully for his sake, no one can pip him. But Black Panther and Myler very close, so expect them to at least get very close to pipping that time. Speaking of Myler, he's out on a hot lap as we speak. This is where Mark lost it, trying to hold on to the back end, but just didn't have enough rear end downforce to hold it. Takes a fair bit of curb into 12 and now into the turn 13, 14 and 15. Now we're going to approach 16 and 17. Feed the power, be nice and patient on that power, but Myler is going to head straight into the pits. So let's see who's going to be the first out of these guys. Elsinger is warming up his tyres, so he's going to be starting his hot lap in just a second. Weeps is on an out lap, but no one else is at the minute. Everyone else is in the pits. Elsinger a bit of a bubble with the back end, but he sets a 14.69, which will see him stay in 9th place, but he will gain a little. Sorry, no. That he didn't set a 14.7. That was what he did before. He's now started his hot lap. Let's see what he can do. Let's also wait to see who's going to be the first of the top runners, as Elsinger has a moment. and he's going to back out of his lap. Now he'll have just enough time to make it to the pits and back out again for another hot lap. What about, who else? Weebs is on his out lap. He'll be starting a lap soon. Marek will be the first across the line of your top 6 or 7. But here we go, riding on board with Weebs, getting himself ready for his first hot lap. Flexes Marcy down in 11. He'll presumably put on a fresh, on a softer pair of boots. But Weebs is going to head into the pits, so I'm not sure why he's heading into the pits, as he does a little bit of wheel spin. So let's move on board. So Black Panther is approaching Sector 2, or just entered Sector 2, while Marek is about to start his hot lap. Let us know, guys, in the comments, who do you think is going to take pole, and what do you think the front row of the grid is going to be. Last time it was Photon ahead of Formula Danny, but Photon was on the softer tyres, so watch out for Formula Danny finding even more time, especially, so currently, if we put detail to best tyres, Formula Danny has done it on the super soft. Photon did it on the super soft as well, but Donoso on those hyper soft. So let's see everyone on the ultra softs right now. So a lot of time will be found, and expect a low 12 to be your fastest lap. The Mark makes its way towards the end of Sector 1. Watch the braking into 4. Just after the 100-meter board. Makes the apex. Clips the apex quite nicely as well for turn 5. Now through 6, have to be patient. You want to make that second apex. Clips the apex, almost runs a bit wide, but he does keep it all together. Through the S as we go. Always great fun to watch the drivers through here. Runs just ever so slightly wide through 11. Hopefully that won't invalidate his lap time. Use up all of the road into 12. And Marek is going to back out of that lap. He will have just enough time to go in the pits and go back out on a fresh set of ultra soft tyres. So let's see. But Marek has completely backed out of it, so he's not going to come in the pits and go out again. He's just going to do it on his third lap, so he's going to have some worn tyres. But what about Donoso? Donoso has just started his hot lap, 27.7 first sector. Fairly big lock up into 4, but that's fine. Free the power through turn 6. Use up all the curb on the entry. Runs ever so slightly wide. Not sure if that's going to invalidate his lap time or not. Photon and Formula Danny have started their hot laps as well. We'll switch over to them in just a short bit. Yellow flag in Sector 3. Is this going to be ahead of Donoso? Yes, it is, but the green flag has come out already. Donoso feeding the power in. What's it going to be? It's a 12.6 on those ultra soft tyres. So a quick lap from Donoso to beat his provisional pole of I think it was a 12.9 or 13.1. But what can Photon and Formula Danny? Formula Danny 27.6. What about Photon here? 27.3. So Photon looking extremely quick. Calcifer though, he set a 13.4 on those ultra soft tyres, and he's now backed out of it. Watch out for Photon and Danny though. Let's see what Danny's second sector's looking like. He's flicking it through. Photon looking even quicker than him though. 27.6 in that second sector. What about Photon? 27.3. So Photon's looking about 6-7 tenths quicker than Formula Danny right now here at Mexico. Let's see what Formula Danny can do. He's looking fairly quick. It's a 12.7. Not enough to beat Donoso. He will be in second for now. But what can Photon do? He's been looking so quick. And Photon's messed it up in the final sector. He's gone 2 seconds down. But he has time for one more hot lap. He's still in mode 4. What about the guys behind? Black Panthers heading in the pits. Kane, Marek coming through the final sectors as we speak now. And that's a massive shame for Photon. He had so much pace. As Donoso, that's his final lap. He has seen the checkered flag now. What about Marek? What can he do? It's a 13-3, and Marek will move up to third place, just jumping ahead of Calcifer. What about Photon though? Flex's Marcy is also going to be on a hot lap. He's 4/10 up on these ultra soft tyres, so he's going to be just around Black Panther and Kane. Both of them on the hyper soft tyres. So Flex's Marcy on the ultra soft tyres should have a better race strategy than the pair of them. Let's see what he can do though. It's going to be a 14 flat, not enough to jump either of them. What about Photon though? Photon's coming through the final couple of sectors. He's 3/10 up as it stands. That's a 13-3. He might just be able to get third. Let's see what he can do as he crosses the line. It's a 13-1, and it is indeed P3 for Veloce Photon. So good recovery, but he arguably should have been able to take first. He was looking so quick in his first run, and we'll take a look at the race director to see what could have been. So just to confirm your results, it's Donoso ahead of Formula Danny from Photon, Marek, Calcifer, Black Panther, Kane, Flex's Marcy, and then rounding out the top 10 you have Mark and Elsinger. So I'm just going to quickly take you through the race director of Photon, and he did do a 27. Okay, so everything was as quick as it could have been. It was actually quicker than that first lap time that he was doing, I think. So yeah, a slight shame for Photon, but that's the way the cookie crumbles, as they say. Don't forget, Shez joined too late to actually take part in the qualifying session. So he'll be starting from the back of the grid, and hopefully with a small 14-man grid, it's going to be very, very tight. If there are any DNFs, anyone can pick up points, especially for the likes of Weebs, Rage / Shez, Twin Barrel J as well, who don't usually see a lot of points. This could be a really, really big opportunity for them to gain an advantage over their respective championship rivals in this season. Right, so time to start the highlight intro. Give me 2 seconds. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to round 19 of ORL Season 10. As actually we're underway already, and there is no formation lap this time, and I've been caught completely off guard. So let's move down the order. We're riding on board with Marek, who's going to go down the inside of Calcifer and tries to go on Kane, but there's contact, and there's already one in the wall. Kane in the wall, collecting Marek with him as they make contact through turn 1. Marek, has his front wing survived? Rage is also towards the back as well. He's in a forced India. What's going on ahead? Calcifer and Flex's Marcy running side by side. Flex's Marcy has the outside, and now Black Panther's going to look for the inside. Not the cleanest start in the world from these guys. Can Black Panther hold it around the outside of Marcy? Surely not. He'll be forced to yield that position. Up ahead, Formula Danny has taken the lead from Fabrizio Donoso, and that's going to be really crucial for this championship now, as it looks like we're going to be seeing a three-way battle for the lead of this race, but already chaos in the opening lap of the Grand Prix. So your big winners from this are Myla, Flex's Marcy, and Calcifer's in the pits, as is Marek actually. As actually up ahead, look at this, Donoso looking to take the inside. Marek has retired from the session, so I'm not sure if he's having lag spikes or if it was just a rage quit. Remember, rage quitting not allowed in this series, but Fabrizio Donoso is still going to be battling as hard as he can with Formula Danny, as he's looking for the outside into turn 4. He's going to hold it around the outside. He has the inside for 5 now. Let's see on board with Formula Danny. Can he get the inside into 6? It's a long corner, but he won't be able to make it work, and Fabrizio Donoso will reclaim the lead. But your big losers are Calcifer, Kane and Marek from that start. and Marek has retired and left the session. So the first casualty of the race, which promotes Shez to the points. That would be his second or third points finisher of the season, which would be really big for him, especially if he can find some way past Weebs. But Fabrizio Donoso, can he pull the pin now from Formula Danny? Also watch out for Mark as well. But seems like we're going to have a bit of a battle for 4th place now. Black Panther seemingly really close to Flex's Marcy. Can he find some way through? This is a battle for 4th place as it stands, because Calcifer and Kane are far back down the order. Black Panther going to go for the outside into turn 1. Let's ride on board. He can't make it work. Meanwhile, Myler looking to have some go. Mark also in this battle now. Elsinger slowly joining up as well, but Mark will be looking to get through this pack as quickly as he can and try to hunt down Velocity Photon. Mark will make the move work around the outside into turn 4. And now with DRS enabled, he should be able to dispatch Black Panther and Flex's Marcy. Black Panther will actually get out of the way of his Haas teammate, but now he's running wide. Does he have an issue? I hope not. Everything looks alright for now. Myler gonna close in a fair bit. Black Panther gonna pull all the way over to the left on the entry into 12. Meanwhile, up ahead, Fabrizio Donoso is starting to pull away from Formula Danny. But if Donoso can take the win ahead of Formula Danny, this would be big news in the championship. It means that Calcifer would have to do much less. But now let's go for our detail. We can change this over to tyres, and Calcifer has gone for the super soft tyres. So let's see if he tries to make it all the way to the end of the race. It would be 32 laps or so, which would be a tall order, but it is possible. As Mark is now on the tail of Flex's Marcy, he's going to have a look down the inside as they make the approach into turn 4. He has a DRS available. He's going to go for it down the inside. Can he make it work? Flex's Marcy now has the inside for 5. Mark going to hold it round the outside and will take 4th place. 7.5 seconds down on Photon, but he is starting on those super soft tyres, so he should theoretically be able to go a bit longer. He does have a good strategy for him, as our first penalty will go towards a Black Panther. 3 seconds there. As Myler now on the tail of Black Panther. Black Panther might just about get DRS off Flex's Marcy. He's still within that 1 second gap. And now he's out of it, but it's fine. He should still get DRS, and he will, which might just save him from the clutches of Myler for just long enough. Meanwhile, up ahead, Formula Danny closing back in to Donoso. This 3-way battle is still staying alive. Watch the gap between Photon and Mark, currently sitting at just under 8 seconds. So that may change over the course of this race. So let's watch and see how well Mark can perform on those super soft tyres. But that being said, a massive shame for both Calcifer and Marek. Calcifer now 9 seconds down on Twin Barrel J. So we might be in for a real treat. The question is, does he have the pace to actually get past Flex's Marcy and Black Panther? I doubt he'll be able to get through on Mark, but Marcy and Panther is possible. So we'll have to wait and see. Black Panther on these hyper soft tyres, while Marcy on the ultra soft tyres. So Black Panther not on the best of strategies right now. So he might get caught out by Myler in the ensuing battle, but Donoso pulling away from Formula Danny. The gap is now almost a second. But if Formula Danny can stay within that 1 second zone, that could be really important for. That would be really important for him. Right, Myler's got the DRS on Black Panther. Let's watch this closing speed, because it is a really big. It's going to be too far back to have a go down the inside, I feel, but he's really close. He's going to have a look. Will Black Panther leave him room? No, he won't. But Myler is going to be right on the tail of Black Panther. And as those hypersoft tyres off, as Flex's Marcy is in the wall. And that's going to be the front wing gone. No, it's intact. Flex's Marcy somehow has saved his front wing. Let's ride on board. Let's watch if there's much understeer. The tyres will be overheated for sure, but as long as he can take it nice and sensibly for the next 4 or 5 corners, he should be alright. Let's just see the understeer. It's okay. So Flex's Marcy has saved his front wing, so he does have breathing room, but Myler still hunting down Black Panther. Mark 8.7 seconds down on Photon, so he is falling back slowly but surely. What about Photon closing in on Formula Danny? Will he have a go on Formula Danny, or will he let his Velocity teammate try to have a go on Donoso because there is a championship on the line? Let's watch out for how that goes and whether Photon will hold position or battle for the second place. As Mark picks up a 3-second time penalty, that could be quite important. Also at the front, don't forget, if Donoso picks up a penalty, Formula Danny will be right back in contention. But Black Panther and Myler, so Myler found a way through into turn 1. Black Panther's going to have a go into turn 4. He locks up fairly hard, but Myler's going to get the cutback. Elsing is here. He wants to have a piece of this. He's on those hyper soft tyres as well. So same strategy as Black Panther. Black Panther runs a bit wide through turn 6, but crucially he holds on to his 5th position. Flex's Marcy has pitted onto a fresh set of super soft tyres, so he will be trying to go to the end of the race on the 16 seconds down on Calcifer. So watch that gap as well. Let's see if he can close anything in. But up ahead, Fabrizio Donoso is into the pit, and that is going to be big news there. Watch out for Myler. Black Panther coming into the pits as well. So that's quite interesting because Donoso, who started on the ultra soft tyres, pitting much earlier than Formula Danny and Photon. But let's go back here because we've got Calcifer, who's just gone past Shez. So Shez may have just let him through there. Calcifer's too far back to get any DRS now. But Black Panther in the pits and Elsinger staying out for a fair bit on those hyper soft tyres. But Fabrizio Donoso crucially coming out ahead of Weeb, so won't get stuck in that traffic as Flex's Marcy picks up a time penalty. Black Panther's come out a fair bit ahead of Marcy actually. But let's watch out for Calcifer because also Flex's Marcy has just picked up a 3-second time penalty as well. But watch Calcifer now because he will be closing into Twin Barrel J. The question is, will he have to make another pit stop or not? He's only 2 seconds ahead of Black Panther. So if he does have to make another stop, he will be hunting down Panther towards the end of the race. But let's see if he does have the pace to pull it off. Knowing Calcifer, he probably does. As speaking of Panther, he picks up his second 3-second time penalty. But Calcifer's going to have a go on Twin Barrel J. He gets such a better run through the S's. And Twin Barrel J almost contact as Calcifer sweeps in front of Twin Barrel J and reclaims 8th position. Elsinger is into the pit. Calcifer, I'm sure, will take this position. So Calcifer, Elsinger's just come out of the pits. Calcifer will come out just ahead of Elsinger. But don't forget, Calcifer will have one more stop to do. So let's watch out and see how that plays. But Myler and Donoso battling for position. Donoso working his way back up through the pit field after making that early pit stop. But Formula Danny's really pulling out the big guns. He's pulled over a second to Photon. Will he head into the pits this up, or will he keep on going? Because he's putting in some nice quick times. Not in the pits this time around. He's going to turn up his ERS deployment to 5. Okay, it's down to 4 now. So he's in hot lap mode as Shez picks up a 3-second time penalty, or rage I should say. But let's see what kind of lap time he can do, especially compared to Donoso. So 1:17 from Formula Danny. What is Donoso doing? It's a 1:15.8. So Donoso very quick on these super soft tyres. But let's see how far Formula Danny will go on these tyres, because Donoso pitting so early, I feel like Donoso is going for that 2-stop strategy, while Formula Danny and Photon for that matter may be going for the one stop, and that would explain why Donoso was quicker than Formula Danny at the start of the race anyway, just because it meant that Donoso was pushing much more than Formula Danny was. But Formula Danny's still using up loads of his ERS. He's turned it down to 0 now, under braking, and he'll turn it. Well, you don't really want much ERS deployment through the stadium section because you don't need to get the best of exit, but now he'll turn it up as he comes through the final corner. Or is he coming in the pits? No, he's not coming in the pits just yet. And it's another 17.6 from Formula Danny. What about Photon? We just missed it. But meanwhile, Donoso, so Mark, let's see what he's doing. So Mark's doing 17.9s, but Donoso, look how quickly he's closing in on Mark. It's a 16 flat from Donoso. Almost 2 seconds he's gained over Mark on that last lap alone. As Twin Barrel J also picks up a 3-second time penalty. However, Panther and Elsinger still battling for position. Myler, it would seem, is running long on those ultra soft tires, just like Formula Danny and Photon. So maybe he's also opting for that one-stop strategy. Black Panther 4.5 seconds down on Calcifer, but does have the fresher and the softer compound of tires. So let's see if he can actually close into Calcifer with that tire advantage, as Formula Danny still pulling away from Photon. And as it stands, even if Calcifer can work his way ahead of all of these guys and finish 5th, that will mean that he'll have to get a 3rd and a 4th in the next 2 races if he wants to win the championship. But we'll just stick around with Donoso. The gap to Mark up ahead is 5.2 seconds. 18.4 from Photon. So it's still dropping time. Let's see what Mark does. Is he closing into those guys ahead? Yes, he is. A 17.7. Good lap time from Mark on those old super soft. But what about Donoso? 16.4. So another 1 and a bit seconds coming out of that gap. So 4.5 seconds the gap between Mark and Donoso, as Donoso is desperately trying to close in as quickly as he can. We still have to wait and see what strategy Formula Danny, Photon, Mark and Myler are going for. It's presumably looking like a one-stop strategy, but we will have to wait and see. But if they are going for that one-stop strategy, we could be in for a great final couple of laps. Let's go up ahead because Formula Danny's coming through the final couple of corners. Let's see what kind of lap times these guys are doing, as Elsinger picks up a 3-second time penalty now. Formula Danny going to put the power down. Let's see what lap time this is. It's going to be an 18.4. Photon is in the pits on lap 13, so another 23 laps remaining. I don't think he can do that on a one-stop. Mark says an 18.3. What about Donoso? It's a 16.5. Almost another 2 seconds coming out of that. Myler coming around the final couple of corners. Can he come out ahead of Photon? It's actually going to be close. And I think Photon will make it out ahead. Yes, he will indeed. Mark may not be so lucky, so he's going to have to try to stay up for as long as he can. But let's go down the order because Kane is closing in onto Flex's Marcy, who's in turn closing in onto Twin Barrel J. And don't forget Kane and Marek in that collision on the exit of turn 1. Donoso within 2 seconds now of Mark. But let's see how hard Mark tries to fight this position, because if he can stay out for another 10 laps, he could go as Flex's Marcy finds a way through on Twin Barrel J. But if what I was saying is, if Mark can make it to lap 20 maybe, he can then do the rest of the race on the ultra soft tires, I reckon. So he needs to get another 7 laps going, and then he can just about get away with that one stop. So if he can hold Donoso behind him for that long, he should be within a good shout. As Kane going to take a look at Twin Barrel J. Black Panther picks up his 3rd penalty of the race. He's unable to close into Calcifer at the minute. Calcifer closing in onto Weebs. Weebs having a really good string of races so far as Mark picks up his second 3-second time penalty of the race. Twin Barrel J is going to get overtaken by Kane. Surely, no, he's not, as Kane looking to get the cutback or the late apex, but Kane picking up a 3-second time penalty in the process. As Myla has finally come into the pits, but Twin Barrel J into the wall. And that's Twin Barrel J out of the Grand Prix, so maybe he had a bit of a lock-up or just missed his braking point into turn 16, and that's going to be his race over. Formula Danny, is the car still there? Yes, it is. And I'm sure Formula Danny will be sad as Rage almost makes the same mistake. Struggling on those tyres as well, it seemed. But look at Donoso. He's really close to Mark now. He's going to surely get DRS and be able to make the move stick. Meanwhile, just behind you've got Calcifer closing in onto Weebs. And Donoso going to go down the inside. There's not really much Mark can do about that one. In the background, I think you can see Calcifer. No, you can't, sorry. Calcifer's gone past Weebs entering the stadium section. And Calcifer now up to 5th place. But all of this means that Kane is now up into the points. Looking at pit stop. Sure, he does have to do a pit stop, but the battle for the final point is looking like it's going to be between Kane and Flex's Marcy. Also, let's keep an eye on Black Panther and Elsinger, because they are going to be closing in onto Weed, who is on much older ultra soft tyres. So Twin Barrel J is our second retirement as Formula Danny picks up a penalty. That's his first penalty in quite a while, I think. Also, don't forget the fair driver standings. Toffee, I believe, is leading that. Not racing today, but Myla having a clean race. Elsing has picked up one penalty, so he will fall down, and Calcifer closing in on to Myla in the championship as it stands. Right, so Elsinger, Black Panther and Weaves all closing in. Formula Danny coming out of the pits now. How far behind Photon is he? Only 2.5 seconds, and he pitted a good 3 laps afterwards. He's on the super soft tyres, so he just needs to get 20 laps out of these tyres. And Mark has already done 15, so it seems entirely likely that it can work, as Flex's Marcy has retired from the session. So Donoso has just gone through. Let's ride on board with Donoso and see where Marcy has, I guess, binned it. And, okay, I don't know how he's done that. Has he just parked it up there and retired from the session, or has he crashed? I don't know. Hopefully that won't cause any unnecessary safety cars, but only 11 runners in the Grand Prix right now, and Shez staying consistent, may be able to secure a point or two. Calcifer, though, in 5th place. He does look a little bit out of this battle for the top 4, but 5th place does keep his championship hopes alive. 6th place may have made it. He would have needed 2/3 then to win the title if Formula Danny won the next couple of races. So as it stands, he may be within a shout. If Formula Danny doesn't win this race, though, it could be really tight. Fabrizio Donoso has picked up a 3-second time penalty. That is crucial for this battle for the lead, because now both Donoso and Danny have 3 seconds worth of time penalties. Photon has no time penalties, though. As Myla going to find a way through on Weebs. Oh, sorry, Myla had got through a fair bit ago. But Weebs on these 15-lap tyres is really struggling. You can see the graining on the middle of those tyres is going to pull it into the pits. And Kane is going to move past Weebs. He's got one more stop, so he'll come out around Weebs for that final stop. Maybe he can still have a go for that top for 9th place finish. But Elsinger closing in onto Panther. Myla a fair bit back, but on slightly fresher rubber. Formula Danny closing in onto Photon, who is in turn closing in onto Mark. let's just keep an eye on this battle for 6th place. Black Panther, don't forget, he's got 9 seconds worth of penalties. Elsinger only has 3 seconds worth. Also, don't forget the constructors' standings. You've got Ferrari trying their best to close in onto Renault. As it stands, I think, I'm trying to remember the point system, but I think Renault may actually stretch their gap by 1 point. So, for the sake of Renault, Myler and Kane need to find a way to close in onto Elsinger. I don't think Elsinger can make it to the end of the race, so he will have to pit, whereas Myler might have the better run for the final couple of laps. Elsinger runs a bit wide. Will he get a penalty from that? No, not yet, but he may have got a warning. Of course, we won't know that, but let's go up ahead, because Formula Danny closing in onto Photon, and I reckon Photon may actually let Formula Danny through down the straight. But let's see. I mean, he's really close, so I feel like there's not much Photon could do, but I mean, Photon would probably just let him through, would have let him through regardless. So let's just see. Formula Danny getting really close, gonna move to the inside and will take the position. Photon doesn't fight there, doesn't go defensive, just lets Formula, well, he didn't put up a fight, but he didn't slow down to let him through. But Formula Danny now within 3 seconds of Mark, and then 7 seconds down on Donoso. Donoso does have to make one more stop, whereas Formula Danny and Photon are likely going to the end of the race. Let's take a look at Elsinger. He has the DRS on Black Panther, but seems to be too far back, or will definitely be too far back to get anything into turn 1. Let's see if he can close up enough through the first couple of corners to get a good DRS run into turn 4. No, he's not going to be close enough. But he is constantly closing, so he may be able to have a go at the start of the next lap. So Donoso's done a 16.8. Let's see what Formula Danny's done. As Mark's going to head into the pits. So Formula Danny, 15.4. New fastest lap of the race. 9.7 seconds the gap between Donoso and Formula Danny. Watch that gap over the next couple of laps. Calcifer coming through the final couple of corners now. If Mark comes out ahead of Calcifer, Calcifer has practically no chance of getting 4th. If Mark could possibly get out in front, yeah, Mark's out ahead of Calcifer. So unless Mark makes some big mistakes, Calcifer has got a fairly stable 5th place. It's going to be a lonely 5th place for him. But Mark on those ultra soft tyres can do 17 laps on them, so that's going to be his one and only stop. Calcifer also does still have to make a stop, as does Black Panther and Elsinger, to be fair to them. But Formula Danny still closing in onto Donoso. He's already caught a second over half a lap or so. Let's just sit on board with Donoso for now. Let's see what lap time he can do. He knows he's getting hunted down. He's probably going to pit onto a set of ultra softs in 5 laps or so, maybe even hyper softs if he's feeling brave. But it's a 17.2 from Donoso. What is Formula Danny going to do? Probably a 16 something, a 15.9, so over a second, 1.5 seconds gained on that last lap alone. But Donoso, I'm sure we'll probably just do another 5 laps and then maybe even go for a set of the hyper soft tyres and really push in these last couple of laps, or go for ultra softs and put in lots of qualifying laps. Either strategy could theoretically work. However, Elsinger now closing in onto Black Panther, 7/10, and this is probably the closest the pair have been already. Black Panther is going to come into the pits, so remember they're both on the same strategy. Black Panther has 6 seconds more of time penalties than Elsinger, but if he'll go onto a set of ultra soft tyres, and I'm sure he will make it to the end of the race. Only got 16 laps to do on those ultra soft tyres, which is definitely doable. But where's Panther coming out? He's quite far ahead of Weebs. But let's watch this as Weeps actually picks up a 3-second time penalty. So Donoso sets a 17-1. Now, what can Danny do? 16-5. So he's taking another 6/10 out of Donoso. So Donoso trying to answer Formula Danny's pace. What about Photon? Oh, we just about missed that. There's a yellow flag in Sector 3. And Shez has retired from the session. Let's ride on board with Elsinger. Okay, so here's the yellow flag. Has Shez done what Twin Barrel J has done? Yes, he has. Straight into the barrier, and Calcifer going to head into the pits. You can see the wear on those tyres already. But Mark setting in the new fast lap. He's 16 seconds down on Photon, but I doubt he's going to be able to catch us. He picks up his 3rd time penalty of the race. Miler's DNF'd. Has he collected? He has indeed. And Kane will crash into the back of him. Now Black Panther will find the way through, but Kane into the back of Miler. And this is fantastic news for Renault in the championship standings, because Elsinger is going to move up and jump ahead of Miler. Guaranteed Miler can't even contest the position now. But crucially, Black Panther 3.5 seconds ahead of Elsinger. But Rage's DNF has resulted in Miler DNFing. Miler will still gain 1 point, but that's not a lot. The gap at the top is just under 7 seconds, and now Formula Danny still trying to close in onto Donoso. And I have a feeling that that may not be the final retirement of this race. We've still got another 14 laps to go. We're only 2/3 of the way through this race. So 2/3 of the way through the race, and we've lost about 1/3 of our drivers. 5 of the 15 essentially, or 5 of the 14. So theoretically, by that logic, there's still another 3 drivers that 2 or 3 drivers that could be lost through incidents. Let's stick on board with Donoso for a second. Again, you can't see that little band in the middle of these super soft tyres just yet. And Donoso's going to head into the pits on this lap. And Formula Danny's going to do another 16.1. What about Photon? 17.2. And Mark, let's see what Mark's doing. Again, his time's going to be consistent enough. It's a 15.6. Donoso's on the ultra soft tyres. Mark's coming out too far behind. To be fair, if I was Mark, in about 5 lap times, I might just put on a set of hyper soft tyres, come out in front of Calcifer, and just push rather than risk anything. But then again, I'm not the one racing. However, watch out behind, because Kane is going to close in onto Weebs really quickly. On those fresher ultra soft tyres, he's going to try to pick up that 8th position. Kane's done well so far this season, but this has just been unfortunate. The collision with VP Marek on turn 1, and then collecting Miler, who had collected Rage on the exit of the final corner. But right now, Donoso is going to be on the hunt. And the question is, how well can he get those ultra soft tyres to work? How long can he put in hot lap after hot lap? Don't forget, Formula Danny has Photon as that buffer between himself and Donoso. And we're just going to have to wait and see. Let's see what kind of lap times. Oh no, we're not going to be able to see just yet. Mark's going to do a 15.7, so still quick lap after quick lap. Calcifer's a fair bit down the order, but Kane closing in so rapidly onto Weebs. And Formula Danny may be starting to struggle with these tyres, and he can't. Formula Danny cannot risk going in for a pit stop now, because he'll come out behind Photon, he'll come out behind Donoso, and he'll come out behind Mark. And while he may be able to find a way past Mark, it'll be hard, because Mark has only a few lap older tyres, so he's going to have to go for it. But Donoso picks up his second 3-second time penalty of the race. So even if he gets past Formula Danny, he's going to have to pull a 3-second lead. And with 11 laps remaining, he has to catch 12 seconds, 13 seconds in 11 laps. That is a tall order, even for Fabrizio Donoso. But what's Formula Danny going to do? It's a 16.7 from Danny. Photon's coming into the pits. But what kind of time is Donoso doing? This is actually really quick. It's a 14.8, so 2 seconds quicker than Formula Danny. So theoretically, you could gain 20 seconds. It'd only be a 8-second lead in the end. But these tyres are going to wear out quicker and quicker. Now, Photon, I'm not sure if I agree with that pit stop. He's gone for the ultra softs. I think he could have made it work. He did pit a few laps earlier than Formula Danny, but I feel like for his teammate, he should have stayed out there for a little bit longer and then pitted. But I can understand it. This way, he's more likely... The thing is, he's not going to be able to get third now because he will not be able to catch 10 seconds over 10 laps on Mark. I just don't think he'll be able to do that. But hopefully he can prove me wrong. I feel like if he had stayed out there, he could have had a guaranteed third. But let's see. Let's go down the order because Kane is closing in on Weaves and will be finding a way through very shortly, you would have to imagine. As Panther picks up his 4th penalty, one more and that will be a disqualification. Kane's going to look for the outside now. He's got the DRS and he will just sweep past on the outside. However, Weeb's right back in the slipstream. Possibly could have a go back into turn 1, but Weeb's no real reason to fight this. There's another 10 laps. He's not going to be able to hold onto the position regardless. As Mark picks up a 3-second time penalty, that's his 4th as well. One more would be a disqualification, which would be big news for Calcifer. However, the only battle left now is Donoso closing in onto Formula Danny, and I guess Photon on Mark. But again, I have my questions as Donoso picks up another 3-second time penalty. He's got 6 extra seconds of time penalties relative to Formula Danny. And now I have to fear, I am going to say I think it's over. I think Formula Danny will clinch the race of penalties. Photon has no penalties. Mark has 12, so Photon will jump ahead of Mark. If Photon can get within 9 seconds of Donoso, he'll jump ahead of him as well. But let's see. So Mark has set a 16.2. Let's see what Photon can do. It's a 15.3, so a second he's taken out of Mark on that last lap. But Calcifer in a lonely 5th at the minute, which is kind of what he needs to do if he wants to keep his title hopes alive. He won't be very happy with this knowing him, but again, I feel it's damage limitation. In race 1 he was sitting a bit further back. He's had a couple of incidents that may have saved him. Marit was ahead of him, probably would have finished ahead of him, and Kane may have been racing with him for position. Right, let's just check all these lap times now. So Formula Danny coming around the final corner. What's it going to be? It's a 16.9. What about Donoso? 15.5. What about Kane? 17.4. And Mark? 16.6. Whereas Photon 15.9. So Donoso is the fastest of all of them, followed by Photon, and then Mark, and then Danny, and then you've got Kane further back. So Kane didn't quite have the pace to be with these guys, but he probably could have been fighting with Calcifer, or at least Black Panther at minimum. Let's see what kind of times Calcifer's putting on these ultra soft tires, because don't forget he's on the same tires as Kane, same age as well, 16.7. But the field's pretty evenly spread out right now, and 7 seconds separating Formula Danny to Donoso. Don't forget those ultra soft tires will start to lose their oomph in a bit, and with only 7 laps remaining as we cross the line, Photon has just over 6 seconds to catch. 16.7 from Formula Danny. What is Donoso going to do? It's a 15.7, another second out of Formula Danny's lead this lap around. But don't forget, Donoso has an extra 6 seconds worth of time penalties. Mark going to do a 16.4, and Photon still trying to close into him, but struggling to do so. It's a 15.8, a good lap from Photon. Again, still closing in on Mark, and it looks like he should be able to take 3rd place. I doubt he'll get 2nd unless Donoso makes a big mistake. The gap's already at 5 seconds, so it's going to be another second out of Formula Danny's lead. As Danny sets it at 17 flat, so fairly consistent still. What Donoso doing is a 15.5, so 1.5 seconds. 4.8 seconds the gap between the pair of them. And Donoso pulling away from Mark as well, really quickly. 16.8 from Mark. What about Photon? 15.9 from Photon, so he's actually faster, or I think he's a bit faster than Donoso at the minute, but he's just too far behind. As Mark, that's it, Mark's disqualified from the session. That's the 5th penalty for MRL Mark, which means Calcifer will be picking up 4th place. Which means that Calcifer can, which means if Calcifer wants to win the title after this and Formula Danny wins both races, he'll need a 3rd and a 5th. Also promotes Black Panther up into 5th place. So good stuff for him as well. The gap's going to be under 4 seconds as they cross the line, and I feel like Donoso may win this on track, but Danny's going to win this after penalties. It's another 16.9 from Danny. What about Donoso? 15.9. What, another second out of the lead. Mark is falling back so quickly. Donoso just unable to match the pace. 17.3 from Mark. And Photon closing in onto Mark, but not onto Donoso, as it's another 15.9 from Photon. Weaves has, Weaves not going to be able to finish it. Weaves will get 8th because MRL Mark will get the disqualification, which may mean that Shares gets bumped up to 10th, although I feel that's wrong. Mark should get demoted to 9th, but I'm not entirely sure on the rules. Hopefully we can get a little bit of clarification on that. Right, I'm just going to quickly check all the messages. No messages just yet. You guys are making me sad. Okay, right, but Formula Danny coming through as Kane picks up another 3-second time penalty. What is Formula Danny doing? It's a 17 flat yet again. What can Donoso do? It's a 16.2, so slowly losing a bit of time there. But the gap's just over 3 seconds with 4 laps remaining. What can Mark do? It's a 17.2. Photon, it's a 16.3. So Photon and Donoso on very similar pace. Again, they're on similar tyres, so it makes sense. But Photon, I don't think he will get past Mark. Let's see what Donoso can do. Once he gets within that 1 second gap, he'll close in much, much quicker. Don't forget, anything could happen in these final couple of laps. We could get a DNF from anyone. And if it happened to someone like Denozo, Mark, it helped Calcifer so much. I mean, Calcifer is already in 4th place with Mark getting that disqualification. But Denozo, the gap's now down to 2.4 seconds. Let's see what the discrepancy in lap times are. 16.9, consistent from Danny. 16.3, only 6/10 that lap time. So Denozo's tyres starting to lose their edge, which is kind of expected after 10 laps. And it looks like Formula Danny may actually be able to hold on to a win. 3 laps remaining. Denozo has to put everything into the next couple of laps to get within that 1 second if he wants to stand a chance. But Photon also closing in onto Mark and Denozo. Elsinger 60 seconds behind Black Panther. And it looks like we're going to be getting a lap car up ahead. This could give Formula Danny some really nice, crucial DRS, which could change the entire battle of this fight. Or, if Formula Danny catches him in this stadium section, it could spell disaster. It is Elsinger. Elsinger usually very quick to get out of the way, and he gets out of the way instantly. Formula Danny round the final corner to start his penultimate lap of the Grand Prix. It's a 17.3. It's a 16.2 from Denozo. That's another second. 2 laps remaining. Denozo can definitely get within 1 second at the end of this lap. Meanwhile, behind us, let's look at Mark's lap time. It's a 17.6. What about Photon? It's a 16.7. So he's also catching by a second a lap. And he needs to get within that DRS zone at the end of the next lap. Denozo is already within a second of Formula Danny. So this battle for the lead could go right. It's going to go right down to the wire. But Formula Danny has the win in the bag because he has those 6 seconds of time penalties. Don't forget, guys, if you have any questions that you would like me to ask our drivers in the post-race interviews, do drop us a message in the chat. But Denozo within 8/10 now of Formula Danny. This could be a great final lap. This is reminiscent of Austria, where Formula Danny did the same thing to Williams Isaac. But let's see now, because Denozo is coming around the final corner. He's only half a second down. He may be able to do it. 63% ERS, 57% ERS from Danny. Can he do it? He will have a second DRS rate to really give it a go. Will Danny go defensive? Yes, he does. Denozo's going to go for the outside. Can he make it stick? He's going to hold it. I think he might have actually done this. And Formula Danny's going to have no answer for Denozo. He's going to get DRS. He's got his fuel light flashing, so he is quite low. Denozo's got the second DRS though. Will he possibly have a go? He's going to have a look around the outside. Let's just hope for his sake he doesn't run out of fuel or anything. He's going to get the secondary cutback. Down the inside into turn 6 he's going to go. He's made it work and he's going to hold on to first place. Formula Danny, great defensive drive on the final lap of the Grand Prix. Velocity Photon also 7/10 down. Let's take a quick look. He's not been able to find a way through. But Denozo, this is going to be Denozo's final chance. Formula Danny gonna go completely defensive. And this contact. Denozo's gonna make contact. He loses a bit of the front wing. But Formula Danny will hold on to the win on the track as there's more contact. Now Denozo's gonna get the switcheroo. He's gonna get the cutback. He's losing the back end. There's more contact between the two of them. And Denozo takes the win on track. But Formula Danny is your race winner. Meanwhile, behind we've got Photon and Mark. They are side by side, and it's going to be Mark who's going to hold on to the position unless Photon can get a great drive. He's looking for the outside, but he doesn't quite do it on track. He will take third though. But behind you've got a lonesome Calcifer and a Black Panther who will be taking 5th and 6th respectively. What about Weaves? He's coming through the final couple of corners. Elsinger rams into the back of him, but Calcifer will pick up 4th place after Mark's disqualification. He tries to get off the donut, but he decides against it in the end. No point crashing into the wall and then losing another position. Or losing a position, I should say, not another position. And Black Panther, the flares have already gone off in the grandstands, but Black Panther will come round to take 6th place, will be 5th place after Mark's DNF. So a good job from Panther. Ah, I forgot my water. Why do I keep forgetting water? What is wrong with me? You would have thought that I know this by now. So just to confirm, your winner for the Grand Prix is Velociformula Danny ahead of Dinozo, and rounding out the podium, Velociphoton. Mark in 4th place with 5 penalties, so he will be getting disqualified post-race. Calcifer in 5th ahead of Black Panther. Elsinger in 7th from Kane. Weebs was your final finisher in 9th place, while Myla will pick up the final point in 10th. And guys, we are now going to go into a short break, and we will be back in just a short bit with the driver's interview. So guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a short bit. Hello.
Oh.
Was it just me, or did anyone else get massively done by there being no formation lap?
Yeah, I was so confused, like, oh shit, what if I do, I need to record, fuck, all this stuff. I was like, oh man, that's okay. I was, then turn 1 was like, all madness.
Yeah.
Like, I touched with, Calcifer, I think, who touched with someone else.
Yeah, and I think it was
Yeah.
Kane and Marek went into the barrier, and it was...
Yeah.
Oh.
And I'm so happy.
Danny.
Hello.
Oh, sorry. Donoso did a Formula Danny on you, didn't he?
Yes, he did it very nicely.
I can't believe he got that cut back on the final corner as well. It was that was a brilliant last lap.
Yeah, but I had 80% tires, so
Wait, 80%?
yes.
What the? How? Oh god. Right.
It was not that easy to even keep it on track, but obviously it had to. I knew that he has penalties, but of course he still wanted to win on track. I did my best to win on track, but he was the better driver today in terms of raw performance.
That was a great race.
Yes.
Right. I think we'll be going in just a second. Okay, right. 2 seconds. Right, okay. Danny, are you ready?
Yes.
So, you managed to get another win, but those last 4 or 5 laps must have been really intense for you.
Yes, it was a great race. I knew that it will be very close, but as I already mentioned, I also knew that Pep has a penalty, so I wasn't pushing overly hard at the second stint because I wanted to make sure that I finished without a puncture. Obviously, when he came right on me, I wanted to win the race on track because it's obviously nicer than to win it by times, but I didn't risk that much. I actually shouldn't have defended the third to last corner on the inside because I was a bit more ahead than I expected. And if I don't do that, I may have a better exit to the last combination and manage to get the on-track victory. So there are the lessons to be learned from this, but obviously I'm very glad that I had the racing with Fab Racer and not with anyone else because he's an amazingly clean driver and I always loved racing with him and he made that evening special to me and I hope to continue this fair fight in the last 2 races.
Great. And I did want to ask also, what were your thoughts before the race or during the race as well between going from the 1-stop to the 2-stop strategy? Did you ever consider the 2-stop or did you always know you were going for the 1-stop?
Yeah, 2-stop strategy is obviously faster. Like I knew that before the race as well, because there is not even an option for the 1-stop in the race strategy calculator. So 2-stop is the better strategy, and it's for fact. And I think everybody knows that the pit is not that long, but there are major differences between tires, mainly when one gets old and the other is fresh. I chose the 2 stops in USA where it was not that fast, so I definitely prefer 2 stops. But in today's race, I thought it will be a good practice as well and a good challenge for me to try the 1-stop strategy and to learn how to save the tires. And from the 4th lap, I knew and clarified in myself that Fab is going to do more stops than me, as he was sliding a lot more than me, and I just recognize if somebody goes tire saving or somebody pushes harder, and he was definitely in the second scenario. So I knew that I will be the only one on 2 stops because I also heard the percentages from Photon and he wasn't so good in that, so I knew that I am the only one, but I didn't want to follow a strategy. Of course, it may have been an even nicer race as we would have been together for all the laps within the DRS range probably and fight it till the end, but yes, what I wanted to see is how I can be consistent for such a long stint of like 24 laps with the soft tires, not the softest, with the hardest, with super soft. So yes, that's why I chose the 1-stop option and I liked it.
Well, a great race from you and another win again coming through. How are you feeling for the next race or the penultimate race in Brazil?
Yes, I feel very good. I am happy that I could win this race. I never checked the championship to be honest because I missed like 8 races or 9 in the season. But I know that Calcifer is still in reach, so I just do my job. I don't even want to know the points. I just want to finish in first place of every single race and strive for the highest. Basically, I really like this league. Amazingly clean racers are here, quality racing. I enjoy it a lot and I'm happy to be in this position to be able and race here.
Well,
Congrats, man.
Yeah, once again, congrats and best of luck for the next race and the rest of the season.
Yes, thank you very much and good luck for you too, guys. I head off now.
Right, Fabrizio, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, that was an entertaining race, wasn't it? Especially in the last laps.
It was, yes. Yeah, the qualifying went very well. I was very close to my PB on quali, so it was a very good lap. I knew that it was going to be very close in the race, as Danny said. It's always very close between us. Decided to go for the 2 stops strategy, just to test really if it was faster. And in the second stint, I saw that I was catching Danny quite quickly, so definitely faster, but maybe not the best, as there weren't so many cars to overtake. So maybe with more cars in the track would have been a little bit slower and couldn't made the move on Danny. Sadly, I had too many penalties. Lost focus when I got my first one, and then went wrong. Sadly, but yeah, the pace was there. Happy with the race. Was a clean race with Danny, and yeah, congrats to him, and I enjoy a lot to race here.
Also, I did want to ask on the start on the start, which I know is probably going to come up a bit. Did the lack of formation lap catch you out as well, or did you know it was going to go? Straight
No,
into the-
actually, I forgot to put the formation lab, so that was my mistake. So sorry for everyone on the lobby. But I noticed that it wasn't going to be a formation lab, thankfully. So yeah, made the most of the start I had. And yeah, I've unfortunately lost the lead, but to be honest, I wasn't um, upset about it. It wasn't very important to be ahead in the first stint.
Well, a great race from you, and again, well, I want to say finally a win, but unfortunately, due to the time penalties,
Yeah.
it's unfortunate. But again, a great race from you, and
Thank you.
will we be seeing you for the next 2 races in Brazil and Abu Dhabi?
Yes, for sure.
Well, best of luck to you for those races, and thanks again for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
Right, Calcifer. Wait, who's in the lobby? Yeah, it's Calcifer. Right, okay. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Talk us through the race in general from your perspective.
Yeah, it was basically all gone from turn 1 because that Flex Marcy did a huge tie bomb and he ruined like 3 people races, and including me, so really bad.
Did you get any front wing damage from that?
Yeah, I had orange wing damage, that's why I had to beat.
Yeah, because it was yourself, Marek, and Kane, I think, wasn't it, who came in the pits at the end of that one?
Yeah. Very disappointing.
If that hadn't happened, do you think you would have had the pace to kind of be with Photon, Donoso, and Formula Danny at the front?
Yeah, I had the pace. I had very good pace today, but I didn't. I didn't need to have like a 100% race because it is like I said, it was all gone from turn 1.
It was an interesting start to a race, and again, it's front wing damage catching you out. We need you to get clean start so you can race Formula Danny for that win.
Yeah, I don't think I will catch Formula Danny, but I can race with Mark and Photon and Marek and those guys.
Well, the good news for you anyway is I think you'll be taking 4th. Yeah, I think you're getting 4th because Mark had 5 penalties.
Yeah, still not good enough because I need to get like 3rd. I think.
Well, I think the calculations now, if Formula Danny wins the next 2 races, you need to get a 3rd and a 5th to win the title.
Yeah, still bad. Very bad.
Well, just win the next race, and then it's over.
Yeah, it's easy to say.
Yeah, no, I'm saying over here. I'm just like, no, I'm not going anywhere near that. Right, but no, a decent race from you, especially considering you had that front wing damage. You came back through the field. You must have had some nice fun moves on some of the guys to crawl back up into the top 10.
Yeah, it were really much basic moves, nothing special.
Well, anyway, a good comeback from yourself, and how are you feeling for Brazil?
I like Brazil itself, but usually I don't have had the base there. I hope I have now. I have gained some tenths between the season, but during the season. So I hope I will gain some more.
Well, best of luck for Brazil, and of course for your title defense.
Yeah. Thank you.
No problem. Right. Okay. Panther, you next.
Yes.
Right. 6th place, I believe, on track. And
Yes.
how was that race in general for you from the start?
Well, the start was very chaotic as I completely missed it with the glitch. I was like putting my ERS on none. So I was like, oh wait, the lights are going out? Wait, does that mean no formation? Like everything was going through my head like, oh shit, I need to, oh no, this can't happen. But yeah, then I made some contact with Calcifer slightly, and I was very lucky not to have damage on my wings, and then yeah, had a little fight with Flexus Marcy, which was nice, and also with melee to defend my position very hard. And then the strategy worked pretty well, I think. Only the penalties were very bad. I had I think 12 seconds of penalties and then 2 warnings, so one more and I had a disqualification.
Right. Also, Kane join in for this bit because Panther, you almost got caught up in that whole thing that happened on the exit of the final corner.
I was so surprised to see it. Like, oh wait, is this Canada 2.0 from this season, or like? I was being so careful for not making contact with them because I knew they weren't ghosting. But I was happy to see, like, to gain those positions, to be honest. But yeah, I feel sorry for those guys. They deserve the points for sure.
It was only the position on Kane because I think you were coming. I think it was Rage, so you were coming to lap him. So
yeah, but melee was also in that crash, I think.
Yes, yeah.
So yeah, important points for me to maybe not gain melee in the championship. So yeah.
I'm just checking the championship table now. How far back are you?
8 points, I think.
18 points.
Yeah, with those points, if I get P5, then I will gain 10 points. But I'm not sure if he finished in the top 10 or not with his DNF or not.
I think he came 10th.
Oh well, then I'm 9 points behind him if I get that P5.
So 9 points with 2 laps remaining. Not 2 laps, with 2 races remaining. Can he do it?
I'm not sure. If he is behind Alzinga and I can be best of the rest the last 2 races, then maybe I can just catch him just enough or just not.
Okay.
So it will be very intense for sure. And I'm looking forward for it.
Well, best of luck to you in those last 2 races, and of course, thanks again for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thank you.
Right, Kane, are you ready?
Yes.
You got caught in that first lap incident, didn't you? Just talk us through what kind of happened going into that first corner.
Yeah, I don't really know what happened. I had a great launch of the start. I already gained 3 positions, so I was happy with that. I thought I'd take it easy on the first corner, take the outside line, and then yeah, I suddenly lost the back of the car. I don't know if someone bumped into me, but I've looked back at the recordings, but I can't really see what happened. Yeah, really unfortunate.
That massive shame, and then also that bit at the end with Myla and Rage. What happened there? Did you just not see them coming around the blind corner?
No, I didn't really see them. I got caught out. I already was bumped because of the first lap incident. So yeah.
I mean,
really sums.
Yeah, it's a shame because you had the incident on lap 1 and then that as well, which just adds pit stop to pit stop. But will you be able to bounce back in the final couple of races?
Probably not. I wasn't really gonna go for a top position. I was just trying to get the best possible position in that race, which probably would have been top 5, top 6 maybe. Yeah, unfortunately today was not possible.
Well, thank you for joining us tonight, and of course it was a good comeback drive. Again, two incidents, you came back through really strong, and your lap times were almost at the pace of the leader, so good job there, and best of luck for the final 2 races.
Thank you.
Okay, cool. Right, I'm going to end the stream, so thanks guys everyone, good racing, and I'll see you next week. Right guys, that has been round 19 of the ORL Season 10 Championship. Join us next week for round 20 in Brazil at the circuit Sao Paulo, the circuit in Sao Paulo I should say. The gap between Calcifer, well, more importantly, if Formula Danny wins the next 2 races, Calcifer needs to get a 3rd and a 4th. So watch out for that in the upcoming races. Sorry, a 3rd and a 5th. So watch out for that in the upcoming couple of races. For sure, you do not want to miss them. I'll see you next week for round 20. Thanks guys very much for watching. And as I just said, see you next week.